This week, we're discussing what's it like to work with a narcissist. No, we're not talking about our show. We're talking about movies. We're talking Renfield, starring Nicholas Hoult, Aquafina, and Nicolas Cage. Based on a story by Robert Kirkman, written by Ryan Ridley, and directed by Chris McKay. I'm enough. I deserve happiness. I take full charge of my life today.
Renfield, bring me innocent victims. I want a handful of nuns, a busload of cheerleaders.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? We are going to be talking about the recent 2023 release, Renfield. So does it suck? Scott, take us away.
So when we did our last 2023 and movies we're looking forward to, this was one of the movies that I was looking forward to the most. And I'm just going to go right in. This was a good movie, but it could have been great.
Life is good, but it can be better.
I think the runtime is actually detrimental to this film.
Oh,
it should have been I think it should have been longer because in terms of
Okay.
No, listen, because in terms of plot, right? Everybody seems to be fine that Dracula is real. At no point in this movie is anybody like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" What the fuck? When he's like, once the Dracula reveal comes out and he's like, I work for Dracula, right? They cut jokes about dry cleaning and shit. And then, but it just continues on. No one at no point is like thinking he's crazy. And in terms of character development, because the movie's so short, there's only really the character of Renfield that has any kind of character arc or character development in this, right? So I think by making it longer, you could have delved more into the backstory, into the other characters as well, and I think it would have made it even more enjoyable.
So I'm going to actually, that's a great way for me to just jump right into my quote. So Christy Lemare from RogerEbert.com said, "The knowing meta exploration of Dracula lore is often quite clever, and Renfield can be extremely entertaining in sporadic bursts." And I 100% agree. I think, so first off, no, more runtime is not what this film needs. It needs a better script. There at points you kind of wonder why stuff is happening. I don't like, and this is this isn't really a spoiler, but if you want to put your hands over your ears, I actually didn't like the whole kind of police procedural aspect. I do understand it's what they built the ending on, but I would have actually not done that.
Okay.
I just like go ahead.
I want a counterpoint because I want a fucking web series or TV series based on this police fucking station. The fact that their motto that is plastered on the wall is "Don't solve a crime until overtime." It's fucking amazing. It just goes to show like how much fucking shit. Like they literally just took the Brooklyn
Nine-Nine.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine motto, and just because they had like that, the character that was just like, you know, the shit fire, that was like the Kyle. Everything was like, fuck, you can take Kyle's spot. You can take, and they're like, fuck you, Kyle, right?
Yeah. So because I do like the idea of like, because this is essentially a direct sequel of Dracula, right? So we kind of pick up the story, although Renfield in the original Dracula is actually in an asylum. So I don't know if Dracula broke him out or what happened. But anyway, I like that whole concept of like, you know, they're both kind of immortal, right? So here we are in present day. I would have liked to see Dracula just like take shit over. I actually would have liked to see Dracula get into like politics or something like that. I think that would have been kind of cool. Unfortunately, like Aquafina's acting is fucking garbage, or I don't know if it's the direction, because Nicholas Hoult, actually, on the topic of acting, Nicolas Cage is amazing because he's Nicolas Cage doing Nicolas Cage, but in Dracula makeup. So that's fine. But Nicholas Hoult, he is playing this thing so fucking straight. And I mean in a good way. Like, he's such a fucking good actor. Every time he's on the screen, you think you could be watching a drama. It doesn't matter if he's nunchucking you with people's arms or whatever. You think that it's like he's on the Globe stage and he's delivering like the biggest line in a Shakespearean play. Like, he is so committed to the acting. And then the camera will move to like Aquafina or, no offense, like any of the other actors for the most part. And it's fucking like mediocre. And then you're back on him. It's like from the sun to the shade.
I enjoyed some of the call outs that they did in this film and the cameos, like having Williams Ragdale, who played Charlie Brewster in the original Fright Night, as the priest in the opening of this film. It is a nice little callback. And literally the minute they inserted Cage and Hoult into Bela Lugosi's 1931 Dracula film,
that was awesome. That's
so what
awesome.
had me. It's what had me, right? Like, I do wish, and that's what I was saying, like in terms of I do wish if the film was longer, that could have been like an amazing montage in which, and then you could have inserted them into like the Christopher Lee Hammer horror Dracula series, and then
the Coppola Dracula or whatever,
which originally the studio wanted Cage in that movie, but Coppola said no. Because he was supposed to
he do Keanu's role, or
he was supposed to do Keanu's role, but I guess they had a really bad experience together on Peggy Sue Got Married that Coppola didn't want to do it.
Ooh, so and it's actually probably one of what's his name? Jesus, I just said his name.
Keanu Reeves.
Reeves is like one of the roles he gets kind of fucking dragged for the most. His like really affected British accent. And just like kind of weird, speech pattern and stuff like that. So, yeah.
If I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania?
Maybe it would have been better to have Nicolas Cage in there as Jonathan Harker. This definitely has some like points, like my quote said, where it's like super funny and you're like totally bought in. But then it has these, like, again, the police procedural stuff, especially the early stuff at the beginning of the film, were just not well acted. It was a bit too silly in a film that's supposed to be silly. They were the wrong kind of silly, just like bad.
But going in, like the trailer, this is one of the things that the trailer pretty much tells you from the beginning the kind of movie you're fucking going in, right? Like, this is hold up straight, like comedy to like it's Evil Dead 2 amped up with no fucking horror into it. It's just like straight comedy, gore, violence.
Yes, I understand that, but you can still have like parts of it that are kind of still shit, even trying to be comedic. Like, the comedy itself is not bad. It's just there's some stuff that just doesn't work. I cannot believe that this thing had a $65 million budget, though. Like, I honestly thought I was gonna like pull up the stats on this thing and it was gonna have like a 6 or a 7. Like, yes, I know Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult probably bring a little bit of, like, really? 65? This fucking thing cost $65 million? I understand that's mid-budget, but I don't, unless it's in all, because there's a lot of CGI. Mm-hmm. I actually would have liked them to go practical. Like, practical special effects would have been way cooler.
Yeah, like, I think Nicholas Hoult should have contacted Tony Todd's lawyer back when he did Candyman. And instead of CGI bugs, they should have gone practical. And that motherfucker should have gotten paid $1,000 a bug that every time he had to eat. Just like Todd got paid $1,000 per bee sting when making that fucking movie.
My eyes! My eyes!
Right?
I get that big bee sting money.
Yeah, like, and that was the thing. Like, I think too, with like, since it was so reliant on the CGI, that was the one thing I do wish they did practical, because even when they had the one scene where, spoilers, like 3, 2, 1, when they revealed the new familiars from the mob boss and he's like snorting the fucking bugs, like, why? Like, I'm just like, that was just a waste of fucking CGI money right there.
Well, and the problem with CGI is that it's like it doesn't have the same effect on you when you see it. Like when you see someone's arm get ripped off and fucking like physical liquid shoots out, it has a different effect on you as the viewer. When you see just a bunch of like red imagery, basically, even though it's, you know, designed to look like liquid and stuff, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't resonate the same way. That said, my favorite scene in this whole thing, that fight scene at the, I guess it'd be like the apartment complex or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is fucking awesome. I was thoroughly entertained by that. This is where there is a scene where someone gets nunchucked with somebody else's arms that have been ripped off their body. I was like the fight choreography and stuff, it was both silly and very, very well done and very well shot. And again, that part in itself was thoroughly enjoyable. I think maybe this film has a bit of it gets better as it goes along. Maybe the beginning, I had to kind of settle into what I was watching. You know, if I was to give it any like, you know, kind of praise, is that it took a bit of time to kind of get where it was going to go. And maybe because I expected it to go in a slightly different direction, it took me those minutes or whatever to kind of settle into the film. I mean, it wasn't awful. Mm-hmm. Again, it has some really cool fight choreography. I guess just, you know, back to the whole police procedural thing, because then you have car chases and, you know, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I guess I kind of wanted to see more just like Renfield and Dracula, like doing shit and getting fucked up or whatever. Like I didn't want all that extra shit added. I wanted just these two kind of great actors and just put them on screen, let them do shit.
Yeah, well, this is the second movie I believe they've done together, because back in the day, oh my God, I'm trying to remember what movie it was, but Nicolas Cage played Nicholas Hoult's dad. Oh my God, which one was it? The Weatherman in 2005.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a old film. Well, not old, but I mean older. What's that, 90s or something? Maybe early 2000.
Yeah, so 2005.
I wasn't listening.
I know. I know.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Here's my critique that I think would have put this movie way over the edge. So instead of going the score route, where it's just like, you know, if they actually inserted 80s rock ballads into this film, I think it would have taken it to another level. Like, just imagine, you know, when he's thinking about leaving Dracula and fucking Roxette, Listen to Your Heart starts playing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the first time he sees Aquafina, Chicago's You're the Inspiration starts playing.
Wow, man, you've got some serious music supervision written out for this thing. I agree with you, actually. Some 80s rock and roll probably would have helped. I don't think an extra amount of time in this was going to help it. I think that they needed to maybe review the script. I don't know if the direction was off as well, in my opinion. And I don't know if that was bad script. And Chris McKay doesn't have a ton of experience he does mostly the like Lego movies and shit, right? So
yeah, like in terms of direction, I think he did good. Right. Script wise as well, like for what it is, it's literally just 90-minute popcorn. Like, you're gonna come out, you're gonna have some smiles, you're gonna be like, I can't believe I saw that shit, like in terms of like some of the stuff they did, and you leave out, right? Like, this might be one that I think slowly but surely will get like a following, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if this fucking gets a sequel, but yeah, like in terms of it technically reinvents the vampire rules too, right?
How so?
Because there's a whole lot of Dracula blood getting drank and no one's turning into fucking
This is true.
vampire.
This is true. But it's got magic powers, brings you back to life.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Like when they're like, oh, thank you. Like when they like the last shot of the film.
Oh, it's the big old picture of Dracula's blood.
Just leaving that fucking out. Sure.
So you, since this just came out, you saw this in the theater as well, correct?
Yeah.
So are you suggesting that our listeners go out to the theater and watch this?
I think it is one of those films that by going to the theaters, you will enjoy it more because like the laughs are infectious and having everybody laugh at it or looking around and seeing the smiles on your face, it does make you enjoy the film more. And I think that's why it took you like once you probably gave up on what you thought this movie was going to be and just like watched it and enjoyed it and got like sucked in with the atmosphere it was in. That's
You
probably
said sucked in.
Yeah.
SOS, lo que dice él. That's what he says? Damn it.
probably why it's enjoying more. And I think that's why if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, right, critics are bashing it, but the audience are enjoying it a lot.
So
right?
essentially,
Like
Chris is bashing it and Scott is loving it.
yeah, because I didn't go in with huge expectations. I literally thought it was going to be what it was, right? It's going to be a 100% Nicolas Cage can't fest, which, you know, if come Oscar time,
Oh
best
my
supporting,
God.
best supporting for Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Are you just going to like every movie we do, you're like, yeah, all of these are going to the Oscars. It's
All of
fucking,
them.
it's like fucking April and you're already picking Oscar winners based on every film we've done.
Not Oscar win. I'm just saying nominee. Like
Oh, okay.
this could be one. Like, hey, Nicolas Cage is back, right? Like he did his Pig, he did his Unbearable Weight. Now he's back into the big studio picture, and they'd be like, here's your Sylvester Stallone Creed one, right? Like we're just gonna nominate you because this is one of the 3 roles.
Didn't he get nominated for Leaving Las Vegas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
This
did.
is what-
I think
okay.
he won. He won for leaving, but I'm saying like now he's like technically back, right? Even though he didn't go anywhere, that guy had bills to fucking pay. But
The IRS, man, they always get you.
yeah. But sorry, well, yeah, this is one of the 3 roles he always wanted to play. He always wanted to play Dracula, he always wanted to play Superman, and he always wanted to play Captain Nemo. So this is
He
why
did Captain Nemo.
yeah,
I don't know
this
about
is why
Superman, but
well, no, he admits now he's way too old for Superman unless they do like
old
you know,
Superman.
no, unless like 10 years from now it's like, hey, we're doing like the crisis on Infinite Earths and you're just bringing him in as Superman just to fucking bring him in as Superman because he was supposed to be Tim Burton's Superman.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Right, so now you do that, but yeah, like I think it was fun. Like I enjoyed it. Like I said, like the insertion into the Bela Lugosi 31. That's what had me. I know most people have you at hello. I had you when he like fucking was walking down those steps.
Well, and they did a really good job of recreating that scene. Did you
Well, I think it was seriously just CGI. Like they literally just inserted them in.
Oh, really? They didn't actually like reenact it?
No, I think it well, technically he reenacted the scene, but it was like through a green screen and they just inserted them into those scenes. Like those are the scenes from the film.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's probably why it cost 60 million, right?
Did you take any of your children or other people?
Yeah, I took I took my oldest because she wanted to watch this film too from the trailers, and same thing, she had a great time. Like
yeah,
she laughed, she didn't cry, but she laughed, she enjoyed it, and she was excited to watch it, right? Like
the Vega duo that it's going to be a spin-off podcast, Scott and daughter talk about films and act in pictures, directed by Chris Langford.
Okay. I'm like, I don't see how you're going to direct us, but sure.
No, and
you had your chance.
Yes, this is true. I honestly listen. I think just wait for this thing to come out on fucking streaming. Like it's gonna probably end up on like Amazon or something like that. Scott, you probably actually already know what streaming service.
Oh, I have no idea. I was actually looking into it because for the police procedural, because I do want that fucking don't solve crime until overtime. Because just imagine that, right? Like the crime happens. They solve it within the first 2 hours, and the chief is like, "Fuck you, go drive around for like 8 hours until it's overtime."
Yeah. Anyway, so like I said, it was entertaining at points. Not the greatest film you're ever going to watch, but it wasn't awful. Like I said, there's definitely it's got its moments. Wait till it comes out on streaming service. I really don't have much else for it. Scott?
Yeah, like I was saying, but this is your summer blockbuster. It's a good little fucking. It ain't a template. It's just a good little popcorn film, right?
Whoa. Did you just say summer blockbuster? The thing's made like $7.7 million at the box office. Like it's not, it's not going to be a block. It's not going to be
what I'm saying is the summer blockbuster films. There's no real like depth to it. It's just spectacle, right? And that's what this is. It's all a spectacle, and enjoy your popcorn, enjoy your laughs, and next week you'll most likely forget about it. And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com. Like for what it was, like me going in, it's exactly what I expected it to be. I think that's why I enjoyed it, because I had that's what I had the low ones, and I'm like, I knew all of this is just gonna be over the top. Like this is fucking Universal Monster Deadpool, right? It's just over the top violence and jokes.
And if you like over the top, you should check out our episode on over the top.
Nice.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.